right. Extra TV screen now, I do that honey very, very important, and we all have to play a point and a part of it. When I say a pointer, that means your friend the decision of how we archive your friend saying history, especially when it comes to the music industry, is very, very important. So make a point to be a part of it, and also make a point to be effective in that particular area. Documenting the Showbiz story, a mandate for the Showbiz people. Are you ready to learn? I am ready. Cassandra is ready. Wafanie is in the building.
Absolutely.
It's been a long time.
Oh, Charlie, you know.
Yes.
This year is here.
I came here, I think, on the 17th of January or so.
I was there. I was on leave. I was on leave.
Baba courtesy your program. And I love to always be on a max because the kind of response when I came here and these things that we discuss here, the kind of the feedback. I get, hey, Charlie Max, you have highlighted Fredyma to the maximum, you know.
Wow.
Oh, yes, and right now, baby, we do not have anybody doing what you're doing, documenting, bringing us the history. You come and you give a whole history of the person. Give like what you are doing for us. We don't you knew or yes, I did. We really.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And then
you are an archive yourself.
It's you. We should also thank the constituents of Facebook and the other social media. If they hadn't been there, how would people going to, imbibe all these stories that I've been sharing on them? This thing. Before I prefer Book is a book, yeah. The little that even you write on Facebook, Charlie, people complain, Uncle, you know what I don't know. Then if I write a book, what are you going to say?
Well,
but at least when you do that, your friend is saying generations will also come to read
the
about
Ghanaians don't like reading. Some of the Ghanaians, they don't like reading. That's the problem.
We will do an audio.
Okay, all right.
For that, right. One more time, Akwaba.
And
topic here we discuss here and worship. It's very, very important. So I use the word make it a point that we all become a part of it. Yeah. I myself, I have to do my bit.
That's right.
Cass has to do her bit. Even everyone that is watching have to do their bit to make sure that our history is preserved for generations to come. Otherwise, other people will come and tell our stories. And that is what is happening even in the United States. When the blacks meet, they say they don't have a history. People are actually telling their story rather than they telling their story. So when it comes to young Ghanaians, are we really telling our story? Are we documenting it? Do we actually have that archive that at the end of the day, you bit to me, it now so a true yankasa story, what it is and how it should be told.
Yes. Madam Masapa, thank you very much for this opportunity. You see, when you go to school, you have so many lessons to learn. History, geography, science. They don't teach you all the basic things of life. So that as you proceed in life, your place of your choice, for you to be able to, for a friend saying, get your own subject that you want to do. And Adebakwa, it worries the Ghanaian is keeping archival materials. Most of this thing from the stories that were told, the answer stories, most of them were verbal. They were not documented, verbal. And when you tell stories about verbal issues, as it gets along, it distorts. Because we didn't ever come home to also please a. So if you have people who are able to document certain things, it will be very proper for the Ghanaian to learn a lot. That's why we have the Ghana Museum and Monuments Board. We have them there. Their sole responsibility is to document archival materials of the Ghanaian in every sphere. But over entertainment industry, no more. Saying that I'm not teasing or kind of story. You hardly hear. There are a lot of things in the creative space that people don't know. And it goes beyond certain chapters. Government after government, how did they create the showbiz industry in terms of getting the history? Fortunately, I was one person. I come from a family of historians. My one of them, my great maternal grandfathers. He was part of the people who were recruited to join Achimota School in the 1920s. And I understand that day that he was coming from our village, Agogo. He was trained, in the demand. what he was doing was that he had cameras and a whole lot of, so he documented the family of Asona people in Agogo Santiachim. Until I took after him. Yes. Every January we are a picture about himself. And then if you look at the correlation of his picture, from a year to say nature is very, very wonderful. So most of the family, that's where I took the kind of thing from.
Wow.
So I was also fortunate that most of the people in the creative business, not those times, I got access to most of them. Yeah. Especially, look at the people like Osofo Dazi Group. Osofo Dazi Group was created on the 25th October 1972. I'm happy to work with all the casts.
Wow.
Yes, in my life.
Wow.
The last person was Super Odi. I paid courtesy call on him at his whole time at Agnes Nedo. Courtesy Ablaji Fago machine. I'm a president this command. Yeah. So I'm saying, documentation of the Ghanaian in terms of the showbiz, it has not been done properly.
For instance, look at the character like even Osofo Dazi. His hairstyle, his demeanor, his approach, the way he even speaks, and ends, if saying that so, we don't even have a story about that.
Yes, because that story, Nana Busumpra, who was the producer, fortunately, he was a student and also student of Prempeh College. So when they came to my studio to do jingles, voiceovers for certain people, that's why I make so about 30 years ago, here, SK Opong, Kojokachi, and all of them, they came to do a voiceover. So I was telling him that, actually, he should brief me about how some of that started. Because I quite remember in 1971, 72, when they started, in our hometown, Agogo Santiago, I had come for holidays. The Agogo Hospital, the nurses, they only had that kind of monochrome television. You had to fetch a full drum of water. I tell you when you're talking about the so getting involved and then getting accustomed to them physically, I tried to learn a lot and I document them.
Wow.
I write. It also said sometimes, like we don't say extempo. It's just coming like that. A bat is I always have a question now. So I had a privilege of engaging most of these people, from Dr. Kyei, King Onyina, all the big guys that you can get. So I said, okay, Minyam Brakoya, let me tap knowledge from him.
Wow.
And currently, there are some people in the creative business that we can tap at their life, like Smartin Cancer has a very good history about Ghana's life, but who has documented him? Pat Thomas is still alive. Sikema is gone. Papa Yas is gone. Jiwalaka is gone. A.B. Casey is gone. Nana Padu is gone. And these were the connoisseurs in the industry that they started from the 50s to 60s, especially Nana Padu. When you get closer to him, Charlie, that man was so deep. And thank God I got closer to him, and then he gave me a lot of stories.
So you have, if anything, documents for...
I have documents. He even told me this from when they were doing, I told you so, how they started, who wrote this thing, where the locations that they went on. Nobody showed me all. So if you want me to tell you about, I told you so, I can give you the story from A to Z. You know, a whole lot of
Kyei
so,
Mensah was
right.
The original living archive. The last one, right?
Yes, the
last one. Because you see, that's why I'm using my Facebook to educate a lot of people. Book in the electron. Now check out volume the space that is going to occupy. So maybe I'm going to put in the digital format, and then maybe if a documentary guy, somebody who is in the film production, can document it. And one guy that he has been pestering me on this is Ricky Anochi. Ricky.
Yeah, Ricky.
From 10 years ago, Uncle Fred, if I don't document you now, tell you because there are certain stuff that people don't. Yes, Obi said Dr. Kyei. People didn't know this. That Dr. Kyei was arrested in 1965 by Dr. Kwame Nkrumah for playing the song Manse Umo, Manse Umo, Manse. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah taught that song because the certain thing had happened in that era. It will not be any say Dr. Kyei is the boss or the Botiano. Okay. Who knows this kind of history?
Yeah.
So, in terms of our history, the showbiz is segmented. You go Kumasi keep a nice place like the Kumasi Museum, documenting the people from Kumasi.
Yeah.
Like in Onyina, who today can be compared to the George Bensons because it's kind of chordal progression that he strums on the guitar. Maybe who be that? It did Dr. Kwame Nkrumah make sure say you can't do be to be or the Huri dance band and all those kind of people who know. So Kwame Nkrumah was the one the president. If you look at into a showbiz documentary, and he took great interest in the creative space. It will be also Otu Kwambia, he projected the idea of the Ghanaian showbiz by taking a band alongside. So all this history have been dead. And fortunately or unfortunately, Ghana Films documented all those things. By the time that Ghana Films, that's the president of TV3, almost handed over by TV3, the reels, celluloid reels, and they go home and say, yeah.
Oh.
I'm not too good. All these
information that
yes.
is lost.
And unfortunately, in 1990, November, the day that Kool and the gang came to Ghana, that is 33 years ago, that was the very time GBC so so most of the activist kind of things that we heard about Ghanaian, because at that time, so only celluloid and then so the era had came for them to transpose them from the celluloid to the VHS and a whole lot of things. All those things are lost. It's any BBC for another the British government that came here that have that kind of reeler. All these kind of documents about the destiny is not lost. So, fortunately, I had the opportunity to live under the tutelage of some of them. So, they've given me a lot of this. So, I have the information. Yeah.
Well, for Bibeka say, what is the relevance of documenting our showbiz story from, from when it started up until now? And the relevance, any Okay,
the relevance is that I'm from quite some few weeks ago, I see BBC for a documentary about hip life. Now, the generation of today, if you look at the kind of music that they are playing, the Afrobeat, it stems from something. Music is dynamic. But in terms of its notation, it remains constant. Though Remi Fa so like it hasn't changed for the Beethoven's and the Bach style. It's the same. But in terms of its application, that's what we have. We have choral music. We have, what do we call it?
Classical.
And they are all music that runs on notation. But as it goes on, it is developing. So the current generation who are doing the Afrobeat, they don't know where
the feedback. Okay.
So these are the reasons why you should show them that look, it didn't start in a vacuum. There were some people there. So let me show you the transition from the Ghana music in different terms of up to the present. Between the 1940s and the 1950s, because the British were ruling us, they considered, using music and then the creative space, to propel government was very, very good. That's why they established the Ghana Films. Present day. For the Ghanaian to have showcased their kind of talent. The boy Kumasenu, that was one of the first films that was done here in 1953 by the Ghanaian. And Sana, the story Ananasi told, my parents know that you and said, I told you so. So if you look at that kind of era, there's a story that needs to be told. And the transitions, we were recording on mono. Then came stereo. We are recording on vinyl. Then came cassettes. Then CDs. Now pen drives. Now it is cloud. So you see the transition. And all these instruments to be told by someone who is telling them. And you should also have physical evidence. Unfortunately, because I opened my own museum with all the stuff. Everybody who came there, the day JQ came there to come and learn something, how he looked like before and after appear tools, the kind of tools that they were using, microphone. I had, as now, I have the first microphone that Mensah used in singing. It's my there.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So all these archival materials, if we were able to see it physically. No more. I'm also, okay, these are the transitions. So after I'm saying, hip life day and I'm saying by a conversation. I had to write it for people to understand. Certain things says, yes, hip life in there, but reject to need the hip life, But in terms of beat, they're not buy it.
All right. Me personally, like, how do we then document it? Because so here, I'll say Ghanaians, we don't like reading. Into book, your friend is saying video. Which way will be the best way to tell the story?
Okay.
So that
the best way, best, but how the person is going to keep it. For instance, if you record on VHS and you keep it in a moisture place, it will deteriorate because there are conditions, certain conditions that it needs for them. You know, most of the VHS and amount for they can't retrieve because or they are 24 heat, and they need certain conditions. The BBC, normally CNN, normally the Hollywood now, they have a place stored. Air conditioning. Yes. That be so. But if you look at our phenomena, when they saw air conditioning, And if you look at the trend as celluloid, when you store things on celluloid, now so they have certain temperature conditions. So if you look at the archival material, that's why monochrome in terms of the black and white, people saw say black and white don't store there also a check than the color. They call the color patterns, some of them feel. But now with technology that people have used shooting on 4K, people can have that kind of transfer of technology from here to here. So the storage can be in books. Books, and at the same time store on data. Protected. Data be 4 places, all of them stored. And then film. Film is very, 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 very good. Because it tells the actual story, it gives you the motion.
Yeah.
For you to even see the movement and a whole lot of things. So with the pictures they're able to move at, these are kind of the story places that we're able to do. Now, because say, who is commissioning who to do something?
That's the question we're about to ask. Who is commissioning who to do this? It's whose job in the first place to
the national interest in all, and a personal interest in all.
Okay.
Me, I took personal. I'm talking about personal before I come to the next one. Anybody who came under the tutelage of Fredyma, you will be documented.
Okay.
Yes, I have camera. But before and after. As I told you, I had a picture of Furan for some pounding my wife's fufu in 1993. Before I took him to the national trial. I had it on video and then picture, but because I lost them. So I tried documenting people that came into my life so that when I'm telling your history, you can't distort history. Quite recently, I mean, there was a fracas between Furan for some checking same about how he was discovered or Lumba. Now you try to throw me, he can't say me. And then I came to prove him and then gave him the actual car. We didn't tell him one, we didn't call Lumba. And then that's why he said, oh, this account, so I'm back. And Fred is telling the truth. So assuming if I hadn't had the content, then that cat would say, Fredyma credit that man for someone they discovered me.
Yes.
So personally, I have my personal way of documenting.
I like that.
That's why the National Commission on Culture, Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Chieftaincy. It took Professor Ali Mazuri in 1985 to come and document the Ashanti culture. When Utumfo Opoku was around, I can't remember when he was shooting that video because at that time any baby years from those kind of things. On Bapembe College, to come and see the Ashanti Kingdom, and near my Professor Ali Mazuri was a Kenyan. It took him to come and document the history of Ghanaian.
Our history.
Yes.
And yes, Anna, when it takes someone else, yes, Anna, it distorts a little bit.
Yes, he's going to say as he knows.
Oh, no, yeah.
Until he interviews somebody, with my cancer story, not saying. The story will be told differently. They said
it dilutes as
the hunter goes on. But only one I could he only went there. But if the other forces, if the Sebo has come also to also tell his story, I won't say. So if you're not able to tell your story, someone will tell your story.
Do we have to do a research to get into, if I said, the societies, especially if I said rural areas like all these kingdoms, and to find out who really has the story for us to document?
Yes. It's very, very important. If you come to Agogwa Santiachum, my grandfather was the chief, Nana Mensah, from 1935 to 1958. Now, he was a classmate to Osajifo Ajima Prempe, the second Asantehene. So his level with the whites, and hospital, Ramsey, I don't feel offense say, I bet if he ever Agogwa Santiachum, they had all these pictures. If you go into the Presbyterian or the Swiss, they have all these kind of pictures. So I have all those kind of pictures. And if you look into the history, how we see from every house, there's a median to the house. So if you go into the hills, now when the stretch of Agogwa, it's very well laid out. That is documented and it's there. So education, so within that particular time, someone said from 1935, I perform will say, look, documenting something is very, 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 very great. If you go to Switzerland, they will document and show you Ghanaians how once railway line was being constructed.
France and all of this still have them.
They still have them.
But they show you pictures and videos of that. Yeah.
How Abetifi, the highest point, maybe any part where people live, Abetifi is the highest point. That mark is there at the Presbyterian Church. Ura Ramzia, look at somebody coming from Switzerland in 1876. How was he able to cross that kind of water river, do ha, sitting down to be able to document all those things. They need to say in the near future, they need to tell the story.
Yes.
So foresight na near na say
now forecasting we have district assemblies. How can the district assemblies document everything that is around? Now you're canning in our boom. So when we want to tell the story of a baby Ashanti region or Greater Accra region, we have this one. Accra, Kintakita, we have say, how did he come in? Jamestown, then a buyer, the present day Anglican church or how did that place used to be? The present day maybe a Ghana commercial bank, almost a month a year high street, you know. That place used to be the polo ground where people were playing polo, normal but high life music. That's where high life music started. Accra, that area. But who is documenting that one? It's until so we get kind of that. I'm sorry, you know. All these things will be stored. I have some pictures. Anglican church, you know, normal polo ground, I'm for bought brass band, and then the connoisseurs at that time in terms of the elites. I don't know because at that time we check code. Now we check code for 9 is the form. Yes, because the only at school. In the 40s, almost 80 done for 1964. So the documentation of every story, you know, used to come from a particular area. But like by now, the National Commission on Culture, the Minister of Tourism, and he said, Fredyma, I just all too much any baby.
But that's the
Let's go around. What you know, let's document you and put them down there.
Because when you nipa ba kwejuma. Now, what Wafa say, it's taking me to something. A yeme say it is not part of our socialization because mame can see bibi so. Oka say I'm thinking of the British and I'm thinking of and Bibia goes back to the the 13th century. You see a shaker, you tracy crass or your Britisher. You was saying you tracing it to your great grandfather. Now you diaba. Because it is very, very important. Osha different other countries are. Kamya say, womunchi very, very important to them because it is relevant today. And someone who can, if we were to go around and do a small survey and ask the younger ones, from 30 going Krampo, they don't know their history. So could it be that it isn't part of our socialization? Because only South African say. Obema when apartheid started, Obema because no buy any mammy catcher, ni mammy buy ni nana catcher, ni nana buy. So where do you think was the gap? In Tia, we have a society where Kamia said we don't care where we're coming from. Even the current musician, who is like 30 years, doesn't know Bebia, the genre of music, Baby if you buy it.
Yes, you see, over our culture, any the kind of addition you see on my one, the curriculum. It's being changed day in, day out. It's time you history for you to tell certain things. I don't need about social science. So the social science, they treat one aspect, it won't mean to treat as a subject.
As a subject.
So they are losing the fact. Now music, you're in school. But can you those days, all these things are being lost. Now the generation of today too are very lucky. So you have the social media in your palm. Fortunately, if you go there, Google something like some of the when you're not Ghana Hakra be a history about Rollins and as they say if you document yes now if from British phone on document here normally say in name we can take pride of that one. But Busano said, is that the mindset of the Ghanaian now? Talk about history. Unless maybe you are involved in that subject. Like say Showbiz can once say when you're involved over there Showbiz you are not interested. So that's what I'm saying your commissions in your ministries are designated almost say yes. So the commission Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. Fredyma, Charlie, you say history baby. Let's commission you. Kitrebians and bra. Take us to the various points. Show a showcase. Why did you say lighthouse? I don't know if you know where recording studio.
Kodesh.
Yeah, Kodesh. Where recording studio, you trap power Gapa phone. And Elephant Box Studio. They sold the land and then it's become a church now. So if you go to industrial area, all the industrial area, music in the the last time when I was going to Ambassador Records, Kumasi, on the right hand side, came upon I tongue in your way. Yeah, tongue a friend say Iron Ross in the Ambassador Records. I can go back to that talk said dying. Yes, because I quite remember in 1975 when Ambassador Records owner the my classmates are Royal International. So every Saturday, they count recordings. Many years Ghanaian 75. That's 47 or 48 years ago. Dr. Kyei recorded because where you be. So my interest in music, it could be a ginger up from there. Because I had opportunity to see how they recorded. Now, if you see how they were recording in 1975, I said the transition now, things have changed. The government didn't buy it. Actually, this is a relic. Papa saying, okay, so when the revolution came on, there was distortions in the economy and a whole lot of things, The Jumagu. The Jumagu and Yakwa saying, no, Kakamara no crowd of you swore. You need to be needs to when I talk. Yes, I'm saying to myself, say, me, Fredyma, my studio, and I was circling and saying, that room was the first room when Dr. Kwame Nkrumah came to Ghana, or rent here. Fredyma Studios.
Wow.
Which is nowhere.
It's nowhere. Adabraka was the East Legon of yesteryears. Yes. Kwame Nkrumah room of Fredyma, me produce his. That very room was the first room Kwame Nkrumah rented here. Okay. So now, Secretary Papa Yento said, you and I were not there in 1945 or 48. Yampe Mpebi. Lantin that they be very soon. Then can't chairman for say, hey, Kwame Nkrumah Lantin used to need. Where that challenge?
Son, I'm here for Mandela.
Oh yeah. You need the cells like.
You need Hannah. Now see, I'm something you call. Offense America. Guy, yeah, Marky Jackson, what in the bay? Oh, forgotten the name.
Elvis Presley.
More Elvis. We are not crowning, but we are few crown monuments
Absolutely.
for people to come and document and then see,
Absolutely.
Yes, go on is winning guitar.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you go to Kumasi right now, Dr. Kyei,
same thing.
Dr. Kyei, neba, out in the major Dr. Kyei, guitar or boy talk first, or strings are not tongue ebo, but like Brian Drummer, no, but the title said in
we are not taking advantage of all that.
Advantage.
So, Ministry of Arts and Culture should really take this very serious.
Serious as a project.
As a project.
As a project. Yeah. Because I don't know, they want to attract tourists into this country.
Absolutely.
Tourists in the back country, yeah. No, they will shop a bar, hey. Opobia ko you can give shop a bar, can that be a Santo. And when the idea woman comedy in Ghana. How they survive in the culture. Look, why you guys were in America? Where is being any mic, This is our local comedian who was there. It's called Santo. Now in a cover, near no saying, be in the union. It's in the town.
Neil kind of said the comedy industry here in Ghana doesn't even have a documented. Your friend is saying,
who was trying to say the name Purdue or a concert? What a name about first stage. Set any friend first stage. They will come and crack the jokes before the real story.
Yes.
They don't even know. Santo be wako. So if you run a bit, I know they can crabby. Because he documented them. Or the kakra to her. The generation of today comedians don't know what's
all right.
important.
Now let's come to individuals. My friend said, me and Metia say the BM Back Morning Show. Obia was starting music at this very present day. Obia, my friend said, Papa musician from old or Tiase. What should we do to start telling our story?
Okay. So what I tell people like this. I gave this to George Britton for Camido. I wrote something, say, on certain document, you should have a personal videographer. When you are in the house writing stories about a year, being videographer, or your rehearsals, get all those. It's a document build up. Yes, so you build that resume, you try to put it on your list for people to enjoy. Oh, when can I be was in a kitchen or no Diane, and you will so on it. So you document them yourself.
Okay.
Can the camera try here? Okay. Fortunately, the cameras of today, that's right, of today has the highest quality.
Yeah.
O terabyte to be one store also. So at the end of the day, when you are telling your story from the next 10 years, it becomes so interesting. And when I'm telling my story, Fredyma, someone I'm here no shell. Now I'm on for lectures. Oh, Golden Tulip. At that time, I'm very continental. WNBC 33 years ago. Now I showed myself in my shell. Okay.
Wow.
About safety measures at the fuel station here. So when I'm telling my story, I back it with pictures.
Evidence.
So if you come here, if you don't tell your own story, nobody's going to tell you. Almost tell you, say bloggers.
Yeah.
I went for an interview on a TV radio station 3 days ago. They took my story about I should say Tamana me Casano. That time I hear you say why no? And I'm quite sensitive statement so you wouldn't be. But it wasn't true. It was on the Saturday when he was declared, dead, and I shared a story. So if I didn't told my story, I look at how somebody has told for you to get that kind of clickbait in it. You know, he has shared the story. So most of the musicians of today, what I'm telling you is that camera no boy anything. Get a videographer. A lot of people have attended enough to this kind of engage them. But say me boy walk around now shoot to me. From it too. So that at the end of the day, you have that kind of a cover material. When the Queen of England came to Ghana in 1961, Queen Elizabeth, you call me him, she was such a beauty. On him chair and say, and I have that picture. So the government say, yeah, you when the Queen Elizabeth came to Ghana in the 60s, you call him and I say, wow, a chair is so.
Those stories are beautiful.
Yeah, I have to say, there's a documentary about Kanye West on Netflix, and it's amazing. Because ne mame catch a cameraman say me bay video no. So if you watch that documentary, you can now understand the progression. So you fall in love.
My son Mensah, I did that to you. When we started teaching him how to play the piano at the age of 5.
And I started
documenting him.
Oh wow!
We will see you. I was some jingles. I mean, turn up here to. Oh, I know about as a keyboard or not. So I made them teach him how to read notes. It told me to have a piano no reading notes. But I being crashing. And then at the age of 10, he played at the Christ the King Hall.
You documented
that
too.
Obama President Kofomi na Ebon himself.
Oh wow!
His journey along the journey. I have all of them. That be about general people say, oh, Charlie.
With such way, your time how much can one actually gain, or a friend saying, can one make a business out of this?
Yeah, there are a lot of channels from the international media looking for content. Content, you know. So you project it and say look, Netflix, they have content. You can make money from it. You sell it to maybe your content full one, but you have the master one there. At the end of the day, you'll be making money, and you can even write books from it. It's series and a whole lot of it. So there are a lot of ways that people can make money from. But Charlie, who is going to do it?
I like that. But I like what you said, Wofa said. Personally, we should start documenting. I think it also goes back to the families of some of these artists. Start also doing that. Sometimes with a creative person, it be on one kasa on your time. But you, the family of other people around them, you can also start documenting it for, for future. But Wofa, you there. And I think, with advice, I would Yensan for same advice in the mouth. So since you're already in that line, make it a whole documentary. Na yenfa enter Netflix. Na me so main say minimum fa.
The first show I'm ready for whoever. Ricky, I'll give Ricky the benefit because he has been pestering me on that one, and then if any year he'll be the first person. Because it's been a very long time.
Lovely.
Since 2007. Now you're the two with my command Santos and Uncle Fred. The way you have known you have been less. So 40, 50 years. And this is the time I think you should document the showbiz business and then
a personal appeal from myself to each and every one of you who has guap chelete cash semi chambers business is here for us to do. All right.